Welcome to Asp.NET Storefront Commander by Simrun Technologies. In this video, we'll explain how to set up your configuration tab for the Asp.NET Storefront Commander. This is the first tab that you'll be using to ensure that you can make a successful connection to your WSI component on your Asp.NET Storefront website. To begin, one of the most important things we'd like to point out is that you do need to have the web services interface installed on your website. Asp.NET Storefront WSI is available for most later versions of version 7, 8, 9.1, and the latest MSX. Web Services Interface is a way for Asp.NET Storefront to communicate directly to the backend through XML-based files. Asp.NET Storefront Commander is a CSV XL parser that converts CSV and Excel files into native XML commands that the Asp.NET Storefront WSI system can understand. To begin, make sure that you follow the instructions on how to install the WSI, follow the instructions on the screen, and be sure to edit your web config by unediting the portions needed for the WSI component to work. Depending on your version, you may or may not need to uncomment all those lines. Once again, this is a case-by-case basis, and you might need to see if you only need to uncomment a few sections or all of them. After making the necessary changes to your web config file, save it and then point your browser to see if your IPX page is displaying properly. Please note, just because this page is being displayed in your browser does not necessarily mean you've installed WSI properly. This is a good first step to make sure that the IPX page is being displayed. However, you also need to make sure the web config file is saved properly and that Asp.NET Storefront Commander can connect to it correctly. Use information for your web page and also the credentials for a super admin user to see if Commander can connect to your web services interface. If you have a registration key, you can go ahead and enter it now. This registration key is not required. It's only needed for customers that have purchased the full version of the Asp.NET Storefront Commander software. You can optionally specify folders where log files and process files will be stored, but this is not needed to see if a connection is successful. After entering your information, click the Test Connection button. If your connection is successful, you've installed WSI properly, and Commander is now able to communicate with your website correctly. If you get a connection failed error, it's because either the web service interface was not installed properly in your website, the login that you're using is not correct, the login that you're using does not have a super admin access, or your web config file was not edited properly. For customers that have a support plan with Simrun, please contact one of the Simrun technicians and they'll do a web meeting with you to find out why you can't connect. For people trying out the software, repeat the steps that we had gone over in the beginning of this video and see if you're able to identify what portion of the installation you haven't done properly. Connecting to your web services interface is extremely important for Commander. If you're not able to connect, most of these other tabs will be disabled. And the reason being is there's no point in having you set these up if you can't connect to your website. Once you've entered your settings, go ahead and click the Save button. Upon clicking the Save button, your information will be saved and the other options on the Commander will now be available to you. This concludes the Configuration tab tutorial for Asp.NET Storefront Commander. We hope using Commander you'll be able to update your website quickly and efficiently, and once again we thank you for choosing Simrun.